This episode is brought to you by the CNY Women's Network, a media and PR company connecting and celebrating women professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders across Central New York. From networking experiences and wellness pop-ups to our annual CNY Women's Summit, which is the largest event for women leaders in this region, we're building a community where women feel seen, supported, and inspired to grow. We're currently partnering with sponsors for our 2026 event season, including the CNY Women's Summit, our walking club, co-working meetups, fitness pop-ups, editorial campaigns, you name it. If your brand is passionate about empowering women and making meaningful community connections, we'd love to collaborate. You can start the conversation and learn more by heading to cnywomensnetwork.com/opportunities. That's cnywomensnetwork.com/opportunities. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome to Cultivate. This is a space for conversations that help you grow personally, professionally, and with purpose. If you're new here, welcome. It means a lot that you're choosing to spend your precious time with us today, and I hope you walk away with a piece of inspiration or an idea that you feel called to share with someone else. Today, I'm sitting down with Sara Grace Nickle. She's the owner, head coach, and the powerhouse behind SGP Fight Club, a female-focused fight program right in North Syracuse. Sara Grace brings 30 years of martial arts experience to everything she does, from boxing and kickboxing to Muay Thai, and she's channeled all of that into building something truly special for women. And here's what I love about it. You do not have to want to fight to belong there. Whether you're stepping into a gym for the very first time or you're ready to compete, SGP meets you exactly where you are. It's about self-defense, getting strong, building real friendships, and tapping into a community of women who are showing up 100% themselves. In this conversation, Sara Grace and I talk about her journey from fighter to coach, what it means to build a program rooted in women's empowerment, and why she believes every woman deserves to feel confident and capable in her own body. This one is equal parts inspiring as it is energizing, so without further ado, let's get into it. Sara Grace Nickle, welcome to Cultivate.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to talk to you.
I'm excited
I just discovered you on social media and I was like, I did not know that this existed here. I love everything that you stand for and what you've created for women in Central New York.
Thank you.
And it's hard to believe that you've been in this for over 30 years. You look so young. What were you, in diapers?
I wish. I'll be 40 in May, but thank you. That's very nice.
So you grew up in martial arts?
I did, yes. Yep. I started when I was 6. So
were your parents into it?
No. So my brother was. When I was born, it was kind of like his outlet to start martial arts. And I really wanted to do it even younger. I think 3 or 4 I was asking, and I don't think they were ready for me. So 6 is when they took me, and it was just kind of game over from there.
And you've trained and fought in multiple disciplines like boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai.
Correct.
Which one do you like the most?
Kickboxing, for sure. Yeah, because kickboxing and karate kind of go hand in hand. I mean, a lot of the moves from traditional kickboxing come from traditional martial arts. So that one is kind of like my wheelhouse. Muay Thai is a little bit different, more clinch work, elbows, things like that. And boxing is so hard. I love it, but it's so hard. You only get 2 limbs. So
what was the moment that you knew you wanted to create a female-focused fight club?
Yeah, so it kind of started during COVID. Everything shut down. We had nothing to do. There was nowhere to go. And I was teaching at a few different gyms at the time when we shut down. And I was teaching mostly women's classes. And then I said, why don't I just do this myself? Like, I should just start this. So we kind of started online because you couldn't do anything during COVID. So we had women's only classes just on Zoom. And then when things started to open up, we started to get together like outside classes. And then I started renting space. And then things kind of just snowballed from there. We got our first fighter, and then more fighters and more fighters. And it's kind of just grown in the last 6 years.
What do you think your philosophy, especially focusing on empowering women, what's the philosophy behind SGP?
I think to have a safe space for women to be able to come and train however they want, in whatever they want, and just feel safe. You have, women around you supporting you. And I think that's the most important thing that we want to do, and we want to provide anybody coming through the doors.
I'm all for that. What can you say about like just your encounters with your, what do you call them? Your athletes, your clients, What kind of people are coming to you, especially if
Yep.
it's their first time doing
So
anything like
we
this?
have all walks of life that come through the door, which is super cool. And everybody is always like welcomed in, not even just by me, by like the whole team. And everyone who comes in always has like a different goal, like in mind. I just want to come to train, to work out, to get in better shape. No, I want to get in the ring. I want to fight. I just want to be around like minded women. So everyone's got like a different idea of why they want to be there. And it's kind of my goal and like my responsibility as the owner to try to shape that goal for them and see how we can obtain it, whether it's just there to train or if they want to get in the cage and they want to get in the ring. And it changes too. You might come in and say, hey, I want to fight. You get hit in the face for the first time and you're like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And that's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah, I have recently grown an interest in like learning more martial arts.
Okay.
I've been
I love
advised that
that.
I should try jujitsu,
Oh, okay.
simply because it's like very meditative in a way and grounding,
Yeah.
and it's all about strategy.
It's, yes.
So,
Yeah.
as like an entrepreneur, they're like,
Yep.
"Oh, you should do jujitsu."
It's a great style.
And
Have
of
you started?
course, no, I haven't even stepped foot in a martial arts gym. We're going to be doing a pop-up class with I Love Kickboxing later this spring,
Okay.
but there has been a lot of interest from our community to do a kickboxing class.
Yeah.
And but I actually am quite interested in learning like hand-to-hand combat. What do you think of
Okay.
that?
I think that's great. I think it's a skill that every person, but every woman especially should have some sort of self-defense.
Yeah.
Even if it's just knowing how to, defend someone if they grab your hair or if they grab your arm, something like that. But being able to defend yourself in any situation, I think is so important for every woman.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And, I've had a lot of interest in potentially hosting just simply a women's
Self-defense.
self-defense class,
Yeah.
mainly because I want every woman to be able to feel like self-sufficient
Yeah.
and like they have every tool in their tool belt that they might need. But we host hiking meetups,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
that's one of the events that we've hosted that I'm like, trying to think, how can I, as the leader of this, protect the women that are in this
Mm-hmm.
group,
Yep.
especially when you're, especially if you are going to go hiking alone and
Yep.
just do things alone, which a lot of women do now,
Yeah.
right? Do you teach self-defense classes with other organizations, and do you partner with other people?
It's a good question. I get asked that all the time. I have done it. I've done it for like Girl Scout troops and I've done it for other organizations. We don't actually do like the hand-to-hand stuff. We're not doing weapon self-defense or holds and grabs. We're doing more of the combat style. I have done classes like that before. I think it's really important to have just those basic skills, even if it's just learning one or two things. But
Yeah,
yeah.
what would you say those basic skills are that every woman should know?
Being able to defend yourself in a situation if you're, walking down the street and you get grabbed by the neck, you get grabbed by the arm, just having that instant reaction of what you're supposed to do. I think everybody should have some sort of skill there. That's probably what's going to happen, right? If someone tries to grab you, they're going to grab
From
here,
behind.
they're going to grab here, they're going to grab here, and you should be able to know how to get out of that.
Yeah. And so if people are tuning in from YouTube or Spotify, they can
Yeah.
see us right now.
Okay.
Would you be able to like kind of while you're sitting, like
Sure.
demonstrate if someone were to grab you like by the neck or something?
Sure. So if someone's putting their arm like wrapped around my neck, I think the first thing I would do is try to pull their arm down just a little bit to give myself some breathing space. You're going to elbow down to the midsection, and then you're going to hammer fist, which would be right here, down to the groin area. And then if you're able to get them to kind of buckle a little bit, you're going to step as hard as you can on the foot and try to break away.
Love that. Simple.
Yeah, very simple. Most of the techniques in self-defense are very, very simple. You have to know where to strike. And if you know where to strike, you can probably get out of most situations.
Yeah. But I do think it's important for women to practice
Yep.
and take the classes
100%.
and do it more than once, because when
Yes.
you're in a frightening situation like that, it's easy to freeze
Yeah.
and completely like just be in total shock, especially if
Right.
you have no experience and if you don't consider yourself the fighting type, right?
Right.
It's,
Right.
a lot of women would like to avoid these situations, but
Yes.
sometimes there's no choice.
Unfortunately, right. And having that kind of second nature to know that, like you said, you have to practice it. You can't do it once or twice and think,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to be able to get myself out of that, because your brain's not going to connect. But if you're doing it over and over again, if that happens, you're going to hopefully be able to just go into that
Yeah.
fight mode.
How have you seen confidence change in the women that you're training?
Oh, yeah. I mean, usually even by the second class, you can see it grow. And it's not, and I don't even want to take credit for it, because it's not me. It's the members that are in our program make everybody feel so welcomed and a part of like the family, like the first day. So I think that encouragement from them really helps build the confidence, and everyone's going to come in and feel nervous when they're coming to try something new for the first time, especially if they've never trained. But our group of women is so great and encouraging and building up the confidence that we really don't get a lot of people that don't come back. We get a lot of
That's
people that come
amazing.
back. So it's, yeah, that's good. It's not me. It's not me. It's our team.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's the way that they feel when they walk out too.
Yeah,
Like
I
I'm
hope
sure
so.
that it bleeds into every other area of their life, this new
Right.
confidence. What is something women don't really realize that they're capable of until they train with you?
I think a lot of women don't realize their strength until they hit a bag or a pad for the first time. And they're like, oh, whoa, I have that in me. And that's been really cool to see with some of these women. I don't know if I mentioned it, but a lot of our members don't fight, don't train to fight. They just come to train. And we'll use some of them when we're getting ready to fight to just kind of hit us and throw us around, because they're so strong and they don't realize their strength until they come in and take a class with us.
What is the martial arts community like in Central New York? I'm not too immersed in it, but
Right.
I know that there are quite a few gyms and there
Yep.
are, some fighters that come out of this area.
Yeah.
We do have the Boxing Hall of Fame not too far
Yep.
away.
Yeah. It's huge. It's huge if you're in the world. Like you said, you're not in it. So it's like, is it really that big? But I think for someone growing up in this area and experiencing it, seeing all these gyms kind of like pop up over the last few years, I think you would think, well, maybe I'm intimidated by that. No, I think it's awesome to have more like people to train with, more people to work with, more competitors, more opponents. It's really big. Bigger than you would think.
Yeah. What do you think some of the biggest misconceptions there are from women about combat sports? Like,
Yeah.
have you ever worked with someone that's like really standoffish and then, had an experience that changed their point of view?
I think a lot of women are hesitant to come take a class with us because they're afraid they're going to break their nose,
Mm,
or they're going to go to work with a black eye or break a bone. And that is so far from the truth. I mean, yes, it definitely can happen. If you're training to fight, like these are fights, like you're getting in a cage, you're getting in a ring. But if you're just coming to train, you are not going to get hit. You're not going to break your nose. I have been training for over 30 years. I've never had a broken nose. I've never had a black eye. Can happen, but it's not happening if you're just coming to train.
and how do you help women work through that fear when they do walk in your door?
Well, I guess it depends on what they're looking to do. If you're looking to just train to train, we're not going to even put that fear in front of you. We're not going to hit you or prepare for you to get hit. But if your goal is to get into that cage and that ring, I got to help you get there. So we're going to start off with some light hits, and then we're going to pick it up. Then we're going to pick it up a little bit more. And then there are women who, you know, they'll be okay for a few months, and then they're just like, you know what, this is too much. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to feel the way that I feel. And they'll change their mind and they don't want to fight anymore. And then you have the other women who never wanted to fight to begin with. And then they see us sparring and they're like, I think I want to try it. And then they'll end up getting in the cage and fighting. So yeah, kind of both ends of the spectrum there.
Beyond the physical benefits of
Yeah,
training and sparring,
right.
what are some of the other benefits, whether it be like just like personal development or even like cognition? Is it good for your brain to spar? I would assume probably just because of the how
Yeah.
fast everything happens and how kind of focused you have to be.
I think there's be some people who would beg to differ on that a little bit. I think it's great. I mean, you're challenging yourself and you're thinking about a lot of things, right? I got to make sure I don't get hit, but at the same time, I got to hit this person. I got to get out of the way. So it's great for your brain, but you obviously getting hit in the head too many times is probably not very good either. One thing that I've seen with these women that has been so cool to watch is the relationships that they've developed with each other. You'll have someone come in who's super quiet, super shy, and then she, will start to open up and, become great friends with someone else in the gym, and they'll go and do things together on the weekends. And there's just watching the friendships and relationships develop within the team has been really, really cool to watch.
Yeah, you're building a community that's all about empowerment,
Yeah.
which I love, especially for women
Right.
here in our region. What have you learned? I mean, I know you've been in this world forever, so like doing what you do probably feels like second nature, but like from a business and leadership perspective,
Yeah.
what have you learned since starting SGP?
Well, business is hard. That's what I've learned. And we're very niche. So like it's not we don't have 35 to 40 people in a class. Our classes are really small. And that's I think been the biggest challenge as a business owner is trying to find how I'm going to market this. How am I going to get women to come in to the door and make it so they're not intimidated? I want to advertise to those who want to fight and want to learn to defend themselves, but I also want to advertise to the women that just want to train, who just want to build friendships and get in shape. So I think that's been the biggest challenge is how am I going to get this out there in a way that I can market to everybody?
Well, I think you're doing an amazing job
Well,
at
thank
that because
you.
I discovered you on social media. I
Yeah.
think it was an ad that was
Oh,
served to
okay.
me,
That's great.
but the content itself was like,
Right.
oh my gosh, this is incredible.
Yeah.
What is this all about? Are you doing all the marketing? Like,
Yes. Oh,
what
yeah.
is are your hands in everything that you're
Yes,
doing?
yep. It's just me. I do have an assistant coach, Emily, who was supposed to be here with me today. She does help with classes if I can't make it, but yeah, it's just me.
Yeah. And what have you learned about like being a leader and kind of bringing other people into this thing that you want to build? Like leadership is hard. I
Yeah,
think
for
that
sure.
that's been my biggest struggle is, before I started this, I was a solopreneur. I was a makeup artist. So the
Okay.
only thing I had to keep track of was myself
Yourself.
and
Yep.
my makeup kit.
Right.
But it's a whole different ball game when you have employees and other
Yes.
people you need to bring along so you can grow this thing.
Yeah. So I've been in management for a long time, almost 20 years. It's actually what I do in my day job. I manage women, actually. So that's kind of really helped me in the business, but the business has also helped me in my professional life as well. So leading women is what I do in my day job. Leading women is what I do in my night job. So it's nice to kind of have they're totally separate businesses, but kind of have that cross where I can learn from one side and then learn from the other and apply it to both.
Yeah, I love that. Were you raised by like really strong women? Would you say
Yes.
like
Just one. Yep.
yes?
Yep.
Yes. I feel like the reason why I'm so passionate about bringing women together and empowering women is because I was raised by some really awesome women. And
Right.
I learned early on just like the power of female friendships and sisterhood
Mm-hmm.
and like just the type of love that comes unconditionally
Yep.
from having a good mother or a good female friend.
Yeah. Yep. My mom was a single mom. She was also in leadership and management and tiny, tiny little lady, but such a firecracker. And she really has kind of instilled in me that leadership. So definitely would not be who I am if I wasn't raised by her.
I love that.
Mhm.
It's so sweet. What do you think the hardest part of building this business has been so far?
Yeah, I think it's again just trying to get people in the door. That's been really tough. And it's hard during like, you have holidays and then summers and it feels like we'll have a really good few months of great classes, great numbers, and then things kind of lull out and then you got to try to build it back up again. So I think that's been hard. It's like I said, we are very nichey. We're not cardio kickboxing. We're not yoga. We're very different where it's like we're a specific thing where not everybody's looking for that. And we're just women. So that's hard too.
I hear that, girl. I hear that.
Yeah.
It's a niche for sure, but it's
Yep.
a very important one, I think,
Yep.
especially for something like martial arts.
Hmm.
It's intimidating for women to give it a try,
Oh yeah.
even. Especially if they don't, maybe if they identify as like a Pilates princess, like
Right.
that girl's probably like never gonna think about taking a martial arts class. But
No,
I think it's important to try new things, and
for sure.
it's really easy to do that when you can do it in a contained space with
Hmm.
like-minded people or people that you know relate to, right?
Yeah. And I think it's so hard to do anything new. Like even coming here, I was nervous, I was intimidated, But I think that every time one of those women come through our door, every time they do that, I think how strong they are to walk through that door by themselves, first of all. Look for me. They don't know where they're going. They don't know, what they're doing. They find me and then they're just there. They have, they've never been to a class before. They've never met me before. They never experienced martial arts before. And I'm just thinking, wow, this is so cool. It took that much courage and bravery to come in and do this, and you're here. I think that's the first step. Just walking through the door. That's it. That's the hardest part. Everything else is fine.
Yeah.
You're
And
fine.
like you said, the environment is just so
Yeah, for
vibrant and
sure.
inviting. And so the rest is like history, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. As I said, so anytime anybody walks in, they get a full introduction. I will tell them about every single member that's there. I'll give them a backstory on everybody. I'm sure they don't love that, but they're going to learn about every person, and it kind of helps them feel, okay, well, she's welcoming me in, she's introducing me. Now I feel comfortable and I can go hit stuff.
Yeah. And I'm sure what you guys do is a lot of like partner work, right?
Yep,
Like
a
you
lot of
have to
it.
partner
Yeah,
up with, so it's probably really hard to like even want to hit someone that you don't know.
right.
It seems actually quite intimate to
Yeah.
train with
Yeah.
someone.
Everybody starts off very like basic. So if you're hitting like mitts or you're hitting the bag. So it's challenging, especially when you're hitting the mitts. You're learning not to hold a mitt, you're learning to hit a mitt, you're learning to punch, you're learning to move, and it's all this stuff all at once.
Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Canon Advisory Group, a trusted partner for entrepreneurs and small business owners across the country. At Canon Advisory Group, their mission is simple: to make managing your finances easier so you can focus on what really matters, growing your business. From bookkeeping and payroll to strategic consulting, their experienced team works across industries like healthcare, technology, finance, and manufacturing to provide personalized, detail-oriented support. Whether you're a startup or an established company, Canon Advisory Group helps you streamline operations, stay compliant, and move forward with confidence. To learn more, you can visit canonadvisorygroup.com. This episode is brought to you by the Central New York Community Foundation, an organization that helps make Central New York a place where people can truly thrive. From youth programs in arts and culture to safe housing, crisis response, parks and recreation, workforce development, and access to opportunity, their impact touches nearly every corner of our community. And now they're launching a new podcast called Sincerely CNY. It's going to be a love letter to this region, hosted by President and CEO Melanie Littlejohn. There's going to be intimate conversations with the quiet champions and visionary leaders shaping the future of Central New York, and you're not going to want to miss out. So keep your eyes out for its launch and get ready to experience the heart, purpose, and future of this region. Signed, Sincerely CNY. Are you born and raised in Central New York? Are you from here?
I am. I grew up here. I did move away to New York, to the city, for quite a few years in my teenage to my 20s. And then I decided to come back. I came back because my brother, well, that wasn't the reason, but when I came back, my brother was opening up a martial arts studio. So I taught for him for several years, and then I left and started to do my own thing on the combat side, started fighting and training under the different gyms. And then this is when this started.
Yeah. And you are still working full time while running this business?
Yes, yeah.
What
Yeah.
is that like? How are you balancing all of
So
this?
I work for an accounting firm, so we are in tax season, so it's
Oh,
very yeah, it's challenging, but it's funny because all my members know when tax season is, and they'll be like, "Okay, well, we know we're probably not training for a fight right now because Sarah's in tax season," or, "We know the weekday classes are gonna go down to just, what it is until tax season's over." So it's challenging, but it's doable.
what do you think your like long-term vision is for SGP Fight Club?
That's a good question. I think initially the goal and the dream was to have that be the full-time job. But I think as time went on, I realized that that's probably not realistic, and that's okay. Just being able to continue what I'm doing and maybe at a higher rate where we have more members and we have more classes, maybe I can do more of like the self-defense and things like that if we have more need for it. Just seeing the business grow more is really all I want
Do you
moving
ever
forward.
like what would you say I know marketing has been probably one of your biggest challenges,
Yeah.
but what What marketing strategy do you think has paid off the most for you?
I
With
think targeting, I don't know if targeting is the right word, but kind of focusing towards women. And like you can do that when you're doing ads and stuff like that. Women who have the interest in the stuff that you're doing. So marketing it towards women who are interested in fitness, combat, martial arts. I don't want to market towards somebody who has no interest in this. So maybe that person that's thought about taking a class but never did it, never really took the opportunity, but they see this ad come across like you saw. They're like, "Hey, maybe I will give this a try." And that's usually what works is I'll do ads every few months and then we get kind of that influx of
yeah.
people coming in.
Yeah, but I think that you might be pleasantly surprised at maybe actually trying to bring in the people that have never thought about it or
Yeah.
might not ever be interested in it because of your niche. It might kind of make someone open their mind up to it because you are creating a space just for women,
Right.
and someone who may have never thought about taking combat before but is really interested in just meeting other
Other women.
badass
Yeah.
women, they'd be like, "You know what? I think I actually will give this a try."
Yeah. I mean, you have a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to collab down the road for sure. I
Sounds
know
good.
people will absolutely love it. So you're very busy, you're working full time, you're running this business. What do you like to do for yourself here in Central New York? Do you like to go anywhere? Are you a foodie? Like, what are your interests outside
So I
of
have a
work?
toddler.
Mm,
And so I love doing things with him when I'm on my downtime, but like that's my favorite thing is experiencing things through his eyes has been the coolest thing. I had him later in life. I was 37, so I had lived a pretty good life of doing things on my own and experiencing things. So any free time I get to go take him to the zoo, to the museum, to go for a walk, I love watching him experience things. And he's the only guy. He's the only male, but he
he's
does come to at least one class a weekend. And he started coming to the classes with me when he was 5 weeks old, and he just turned 2. He's got his own gloves, and he trains with us. So that's been really, really cool for me.
That's so cute. I'm imagining him just
He's got a really good right roundhouse kick. He's good.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna be raised by a tribe of incredible women. That's so cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
His future wife is gonna be very lucky. um, if women took one lesson from martial arts and applied it to their lives, what should it be?
I think the confidence in themselves and confidence in everything that they do. I think martial arts is great for building yourself up, building that self-confidence, walking down the street knowing you know how to defend yourself. God forbid if anything happened, you have that thought in your mind, okay, well, I know how to protect myself. I feel safe because I know what I'm doing, kind of thing, if that makes sense.
And what would you say to a woman who's thinking that she's not strong enough or athletic enough to
You
do what
are.
you do?
You are. You definitely are. You don't need to be in any type of shape. You don't need to come work out before you come take a class with us. Our classes are for every single experience level, every single body type, age, anything you can think of, you can come take a class with us.
Do you guys have any special plans for 2026? Any events or initiatives that you're looking forward
I
to?
just like to get more women in the ring, in the cage. I mean, I want to build up the program too, but I love the fights. I love fight weekends. I love the fight camps. I love getting the fighters in shape and ready. It's just my favorite thing. I was on the fighter side of things and I never really wanted to be a fighter. This is what I wanted to do. I knew from like a really young age I wanted to own a gym. I just knew that being a fighter was part of it. I had to get in there and experience it in order to coach somebody else to do it. So I love it. It's my favorite part of this business is the fight stuff.
Have you had any mentors along the way building this business or just in your martial arts career that you think have made a huge difference for you?
I think as a child I did. A lot of my like senseis and instructors, and my brother's been in the martial arts community for, a very long time, almost 40 years, and he's still in it. So I think he's a really good mentor for me on like the business side of things. And I worked for him briefly as well. So I've kind of learned a lot from him. But other than that, I've a lot of this is kind of just figuring it out as I go.
Yeah. And that's all business is about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think your favorite part of like entrepreneurship is?
I like being a leader. I like leading people. So I think that's really cool. And like the creative side of it. Like this is my business. It's, literally my initials on it. So being able to kind of be creative and do whatever I want with it has been really cool, fun.
Yeah, I love that too. Just simply building a brand, right,
Right.
is a
Yeah.
very creative experience.
Yes.
But I also say building a business is a spiritual journey.
Hmm.
What have you learned about yourself, just about your own resilience or your self-discipline? Do you think anything has shifted since you've started this business?
Yeah, I think, there's been a lot of times in the last 6 years that I've been like, okay, I don't think this is going to work anymore. I think, classes have gotten small. No one really wants to fight. I just don't think this is it. And then having that self-talk with myself is no, Sarah, you did this because you wanted to help people. You wanted to get people, in the ring, in the cage, not even that, just like in a space where they could all be together in this safe space, and you got to keep doing it. So I think just that self-talk to myself and realizing that like I'm not giving up, that's kind of what I've learned. Like it can be really tough, you
Yeah.
know?
It's really tough, especially when you do have such a very focused,
Yeah.
specific niche.
Yeah.
You're not selling toilet paper. Like not
Right. Not
everyone
everybody needs it. Right.
exactly. And it can be a humbling experience.
Yeah.
Like I really resonate with that.
Oh,
Sometimes
100%. Yeah.
things aren't, growing as quickly as you'd like
Yep.
at the scale that you might like, but I think it's really important to create something for a specific group of people.
Mhm.
It's important to stay intentional and stay true to your mission,
Mhm.
and not try to become something you're not or something for everybody simply
Right.
because you feel like the pressures of business.
Exactly. Yep.
What would you say, which part of business or leadership would you like to improve upon?
Hmm. That's a good question. Um,
Like, are there any skills you would like to learn? Like, for example, I would love to learn more about how to leverage AI and create, learn a little bit more about streamlining and operations.
yeah, I think the marketing side of things is definitely something I would like to learn more about. Um, I think that there's a lot more I could be doing, and maybe I'm not doing it in the correct way to get the business in the door. So I think being able to learn more on how to like strategize would definitely be helpful for me.
Yeah. And I think like everybody can probably benefit just from like honing their sales skills, which
Oh
marketing
yeah.
is sales
Yep.
essentially.
Yeah.
And that's another area that I'm like, I need to read more books on sales.
Yep.
That's what I
Yeah.
need.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Selling anything is tough, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you have that, like, my dad had that salesman, mentality. Like, I just don't have that. Like, I'm really great at building up the business and selling the business. But when it comes to selling, like, things, that's tough.
Yeah. It's a mentality. I
Right.
think it's like a mental shift because I think that once you understand,
Yeah.
it's not tough.
Right.
It seems for the people that are good at sales, it looks to be natural. And I
Right.
think that's what it's supposed to be. It's still supposed to be very genuine.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the times, volume and timing is everything,
Yeah.
at least like with what I do, but there's always areas for improvement.
Yeah. It's a skill you got to learn. It's not something you can some people just have it, but some people don't.
If there's someone listening to this right now
Yeah.
that really resonates with what you've built, but also with, your struggles and your journey, what's
Yeah.
one piece of advice you'd give them?
Just don't give up. Just keep trying and try other avenues. One thing doesn't work, try something else. That doesn't work, try something else. Like if you're really passionate about something and you really, really want to do it, just don't give up. So many times I wanted to give up and I was just don't do it.
Yeah.
Keep trying.
Yeah, I think that the strongest entrepreneurs are the ones that are able to discern and know when something's not working and
Yeah.
have the ability to pivot as quickly as
Yep.
possible.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of pride and like ego that can go into building a business. And for me personally, where I've struggled is saying I'm going to do something and feeling like I absolutely have to at least finish it before I decide to be done with it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite entrepreneurs, she's like, it's Lucy Guo. I was listening to her on a podcast recently. She was named like the youngest self-made billionaire.
Oh, wow.
I think someone just took her spot though. But one of the things that really stuck out to me that she said is that she started like 5 different companies within the span of 3 weeks. And she like had an idea and she would go to build it. And then she'd be like, this isn't going to work next.
Okay.
And like she would literally pivot the next day and start a different company the next day.
Oh.
I mean, it's one thing to have ideas like that and have resources.
Yes,
and,
right. The resources are huge.
Yeah. And she's like a Silicon Valley kid where she's like, you know, has like 1 million software engineers on speed dial. But like nonetheless, that really showed me that there's nothing wrong with saying this is a piece of crap. This idea isn't going to work. It was a cool idea, but it's actually a failure. And I'm not too prideful to try to fit a square peg in a round hole, you know?
Yeah.
And that's for me personally. And I think that this probably would resonate with a lot of people. I think that's like the pickle I've gotten myself into is like not pivoting quick enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So I love that. If there is someone listening to this that has never tried martial arts or combat or anything, but is now very interested in it, what would you want to tell them?
Just come try a class. Reach out to us. You're going to be welcomed. Just do it. Just try it.
And
what's the worst that can happen? You don't like it. Just don't come back. But you'll come back.
I love it. What do your class schedule look like?
So we are weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. We're in North Syracuse, 10 a.m. classes, and we do weekday classes for those that are training to fight. So it's usually just weekends for those that are just the casual trainers and just wanting to get their foot in the door.
Yeah. And how long are the classes? And
they're about 45 to 50 minutes. We do spar sometimes Saturday mornings, so that will be before class, but that's anybody who's, been in there for a while.
And if someone's listening to this that has never heard of sparring, what is sparring?
So sparring is like pretend fighting, I guess you would say. You're getting yourself ready to fight. You're learning how to throw a punch at somebody and learning how to defend it at the same time. If anybody's looking to want to try sparring, we're not going to say, here's some gear, here's a mouth guard, go punch somebody. We're going to ease you into it. We'll start with some light jabs. A few weeks later, we'll add some more strikes. A few weeks after that, we'll probably gear you up, hit you a little bit harder. A few weeks after that, we'll probably get you going into some kicks and other things. So we'll ease you into it. You're never just going to get thrown into the water.
And for the other classes that are like just the training classes, what does the structure for those look like?
The fight classes?
Yeah.
So those are usually heavily like sparring and fight focused. So a lot of strength training, a lot of cardio, and a lot of hitting each other.
What kind of cardio do you guys do? Do you guys run or jump rope?
Yep. So when people are getting ready to fight, it's usually 6 to 8 week fight camp. And then I give them like a plan every week. So you'll start usually with like just a mile run twice a week. Your second week, I might put you up to 2. Your third, fourth week, you're going to go to 3. When you're deep into camp, you're doing 4 miles a week, 3 to 4 times a week. And you're weightlifting 6 times a week. It's people don't realize how much it takes to get into the ring or the cage. You think, okay, I'm just going to spar a few times, I'm going to fight. No, you're going through an 8-week camp where you're working out 2 to 3 times a day. We do exercise bike too. We have, the Airdyne bike we use, lots of jump rope, things like that.
Yeah.
And your good old jumping jacks and burpees.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
No,
that's awesome. I think it's like really cool. I'm sure you've noticed this too, especially like as we become adults and get bogged down by like the responsibilities of everyday life. If you were a former competitive athlete, it's so therapeutic, honestly, to like be able to compete again.
Oh yeah.
I started doing like high rocks races.
Oh, that's cool.
I've only done one I did it in November, but I have another one coming up in April. And it's been so nice to have a reason to get into like training shape and like
Mhm.
feel like a true athlete
Yeah.
again. But, I also am a competitive person. So, and
It's
I'm really
fun.
a competitive with myself.
Yep.
I didn't grow up in team sports. I
No.
was a dancer.
Okay.
So
That's competitive though.
yeah, I was
Very
I was a
competitive.
competitive dancer, and that's a very individualistic kind of sport. Your biggest competition is
Yep.
yourself and just improving your technique and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I like the high rocks races because you can do it with a partner. You don't have to do everything yourself, which is
Can you
intense.
explain it a little bit? I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Okay, so it's like this new, it's like I made a joke. I first of all, my first race, I never thought I would have done one.
Okay.
One of my girlfriends has always been into strength training, but I got into strength training in 2020, in the beginning of 2025. And so I've heard about these races because a lot of the, athletes from the gym I go to compete in them. And my friend from high school was like, "Guys, I'm doing a High Rocks in Chicago. Do you guys like want to just like meet up and, you know, go on a trip or whatever?" And my two best friends from high school, they both one lives in Pittsburgh, one lives in Orlando. So we
Mm.
like to find excuses to meet up
Right.
somewhere a couple times a year.
Great
So I
excuse.
was like, yeah, let's go support you.
Yeah.
I'll bring a sign and let's make a weekend of it. I love
Yeah.
Chicago. And then it just kind of was like one of those things where I was like, why don't I just try it? Why not? And I haven't competed in anything since I stopped dancing. So
Okay.
my other friend, uh, I asked her, I said, "Do you want to be my partner?" Because you can do singles or doubles.
So what is
And
it
so the
exactly?
race itself is it's a timed race.
Okay.
And you start out with a 1 kilometer run.
Okay.
And then you go and you go to the ski ergs and you have to do 1,000 meters on the ski ergs. But if you're with someone else, you only have to
Yeah.
do 500
Okay.
meters. So usually you'll like go back and forth and each person will do like 250 and 250. And then you have to run another kilometer. And then you go to the next station.
Wow.
And the next station is rowers. And you have to do 1,000 meters on the rowers. So it's very like endurance
Yeah.
focused. But there is strength as well.
Okay.
So then after the rowers, you do another 1 kilometer run. So in between each station, you're running a kilometer. I think you
Okay.
end up running like 4 miles
Wow.
pretty much. And then the next station is, I'm gonna butcher this. I think it's like farmers carries. You have to
Okay.
like
Yep. Yeah.
grab your kettlebells and do a certain distance with those. And then you have like weighted lunges with like the sandbags, walking
Yeah.
lunges, and then there's like
That sounds fun.
wall balls with like a 20-pound
Yeah.
medicine ball. There's a bunch of different things. There's 8 stations total.
Is this outside?
Typically they're in like a big convention center.
Okay.
So one of the worst parts is that you're usually running on concrete,
Mm.
which is not
No, it's
fun.
not
And I do
good.
not identify as a runner whatsoever, but I've had to start running to train for this.
Yeah.
And I'm not obsessed with it. I'm only running because I'm training for it,
Right.
but I
Yeah.
have started to like understand why
Why?
people like running.
Yeah. I hate
It's
running too, but you have to do it. I mean, the running is like, it's the best cardio I think you can do endurance wise. Helps you like, when you're training for a fight, you're running to help with like the length of the fight. That's not what's going to help you win the fight. Those short bursts, like you're saying, like the sprints and things like that, that'll help. But the running itself it's good. It's great for endurance, but who likes to run? There
there's
are so
insane
many
people
people
out
who
there that
like to
do.
run. We actually have some of our members who are in the Syracuse run clubs, and they're like, they
Yeah.
swear by it. I'm like, good
Yeah.
for you.
I was thinking of doing the Syracuse Run Club this summer and just like
You
joining it
should.
because it seems like such a good time.
Yeah.
Have you seen like their content and
I
everything
have,
they're
yeah.
about?
One of the girls has got like a page for it on Instagram that's in our group, and she's a huge runner. She's got a lot of the other fighters like going to the runs with her and stuff. She's very encouraging with that, and I think it's great. She does marathons and half marathons. I could never, but I
When
think
you do have to run
yeah.
to prepare for a fight, what is your like running technique? Or is there a certain kind of music you're listening to? As someone who hates running, like,
Yeah.
give me some advice. How can I make it a little bit more bearable?
Blast that music so you don't hear yourself breathe.
Mm,
If I hear myself breathe, I start to panic.
okay.
And I'm not like the type of person that can run with other people. Like I've people who like to run. I have a friend who does not listen to music. I don't know how she does it. She just likes to talk. It's like, I can't do it. I'm trying to just survive.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fighting for my life here.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
No, I do blast the music and I also do run alone. Um, for me, it's been like a great way to process my
Yeah, yeah.
thoughts. So, but then sometimes it's like I don't want to think about my thoughts.
Right. Exactly. Yep. I run almost every day. It's not something like you said that I necessarily want to do, but I know that I have to do it to stay in shape.
And so you had mentioned that you were training to fight again, but it
Yes.
doesn't look like that's going to
Right.
happen. Why
Yeah.
is that?
There's just opponent issues. There was an opponent that was offered to me that I accepted. They were unable to take it due to some personal reasons, and then a few others that I wasn't all in mentally on. So I decided to pass up. I think I wanted one more before I was 40. I really don't want to fight after 40. There's nothing wrong with fighting after 40. It's just not for me. It's a lot more medically that you have to do CT scans and
Mm.
MRIs, EKGs.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking of doing just one more to say, okay, I did one more before I was 40 and it's just not going to work out. That's okay.
Yeah, you've made
It's okay.
peace with it.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know that you could choose your opponent. There's like, is there this whole, I mean, there's a lot of tests you have to take before a fight and
Right. So there's like promotions, like I'm sure you've heard of UFC and Bellator. Those are promotions. So we have a lot locally. And when I say locally, I mean like Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, we have one in Syracuse. So they have matchmakers, and the matchmakers will reach out to the owners of the gym and the coaches and say, hey, give me a list of who you have for the fights. So what I'll do is I'll provide a list of names of my girls, their weight, their ages, their height, their experience levels. So if they've had, 5 fights, I'll say they're 4-1 or whatever their record is. So then the matchmakers will come back and say, I have this person. What do you think? I'll then go on social media, start looking them up, see what I can find. And then if I think that person's suitable for my fighter, I'll say, okay, yeah, I want to take it. They'll go back and offer it to the other team. And then if we both agree, then we'll take it. There's a lot to agree on, gear and rules and all that stuff too.
yeah. And walk me through like fight day. Like, what
Uh,
does that morning routine look like?
So there's actually like a fight weekend. So you have weigh-ins, which are the day before. So usually weigh-ins are in the evening, and it's really tough when you have a weight cut. And everyone who I've ever trained has always had some sort of cut. Typically, when I fight, I usually cut about 20 to 25 pounds. This cut for me would have been way lower. I would have only had to cut 10. So when you go to weigh in, at that point, you are starving. You haven't probably drank water in a couple days. You haven't eaten all day. So you are weighing in, stepping on the scale, and you're facing off with your opponent. So you're getting, putting your hands up, doing a face off, and then getting some pictures, and then you're going to hydrate. You're going to eat, and then you're going to go home and rest. And the next morning is when it all starts. So the fighters will wake up, they'll get ready. A lot of the girls will get their hair braided. I braid hair for all my fighters. So I'll usually do that in the morning. And then we head to the venue, and it's rules meeting with the state. The state will hold rules and like tell you what you can and cannot do. And then it's kind of just a waiting game. You're getting your hands wrapped and stretched, and you're warming up with your coach. And then you hear your name called. You get your walkout song, which is really cool.
What's your walkout song?
Oh, I've had so many. I've done so silly. I'm gonna age myself, but I think a lot of my last few fights were Rami Ma.
Yeah.
like a lot of rap
Yes.
music.
Yep.
I've had walked out to Drake a few times. So it's usually some sort of like pump up rap song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get hype.
Yeah.
There's one thing I love about the gym I go to here is the music. They just
Yeah.
blast rap music.
Yeah.
And I've got quite a range when it comes to genre.
What do you
But I
like?
reserve my rap consumption for the
For
gym.
your workout?
But it certainly helps you go beast mode.
Sure does. Yeah. Yeah. We're very I'm very big on like old school rap too. I
Mhm.
like the 90s and 2000s, and I've got a lot of the fighters who like that screaming rock music, you can listen to that, but we're probably not going to play that in the gym.
Yeah. It's a little angry.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah,
It's
it's okay.
important
They'll
to,
use it for their walkout songs and it's great for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
it works. Hey,
Yep.
whatever works.
Yes.
So what about like the mentality? Like how do you prime yourself to go and walk out and fight?
It's
I
all
mean,
mental. I always
I'm
say to all my
sure.
fighters, it's probably 80% mental and 20% physical. You really got to get yourself to that point before you can even agree to the fight. And I talk to all of the girls who want to fight. That's a conversation we have. You have to be mentally ready. And if I don't think that you're there, I'm going to pull you out. And that doesn't mean that hey, you're not going to fight. That just means right now we need to take a little more time and get you there. And what I mean by that is maybe you're not comfortable sparring certain people, or maybe you're not comfortable getting hit in the face yet, or maybe mentally you're not ready to get in front of a couple thousand people and show your skills. And that's okay. We just got to kind of talk through it and get you there before we can get you out there. If you're not mentally ready, you're not going to be able to do it.
What are some of the mindsets that give someone the ability to be okay with getting punched in the face? Like
That's a good question.
that
You
might
have something
be,
wrong with you. No, I'm
I
just
mean,
kidding.
that's where my brain just went because I was like, I'm very much one of those. I find myself, I consider myself a risk taker in a
Okay.
lot of ways, but the one, like, I'm also very risk averse when it comes to anything that I could fall. Like, I don't
Right.
like to fall. And I realized this when I was talking to someone about just skiing.
Right.
And I would say skiing is probably like the most extreme sport I'll ever do,
Mhm.
and when I ski, I'm meandering the entire way down and I'm not going hard.
No, you're not going straight
But
down.
I
Yeah.
just went skiing a few weeks ago for the first time in like 4 years,
Okay.
and everyone's like, "Alex, you didn't fall. Like you're the only one that didn't fall." And it's because I'm like, I don't like to fall. I don't
You were
want to fall.
focusing on not falling. Right.
And I think in a lot of ways I've been able to like just maneuver and prioritize perfection. I
Mhm.
think that that's where that comes from.
Okay.
But I realized recently, I'm like, I need to learn how to be okay with falling
Mhm.
in every
Yeah.
aspect of my life,
Yeah.
because I've seen how it's prevented me from potential opportunities and success and
Mhm.
experiences because I am so opposed to falling
Mhm.
and getting hurt in
Yep.
general, whether it's physically and even, emotionally or
Mhm.
mentally. So I am just fascinated by people that are okay with getting punched in the face because I just could not see myself being okay with
We
that.
always say that too, like when we're getting ready to spar, we're always like, what is wrong with us that we're like excited to do this? But I think you got to get yourself there. It's not something that's just you're gonna walk in and get punched in the face and be like, wow, that wasn't bad. No, it's not gonna feel good. It's gonna be pretty bad the first few times, but I can tell you it gets easier. Like when I'm sparring and I'm training, I'm not really realizing my injuries until like that night. Cause you don't, once you're in it, your adrenaline is so high that when you're getting hit, it's like, yeah, you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
After a while, it's just something you get used to.
Is there ever like any post fight regrets when it comes to like once the pain starts setting in? Have you ever been like, man, I got to stop doing this?
No, I think the older I get, the more I'm like, I'll come home and my husband will be like, "Oh, are you getting too old for it? Is it too much?" And I'm like, "Oh, walking around the house like, no," but waking up with bruises and all types of stuff when, the older you get, it's a little bit harder to recover from. The bruises will stay a little bit longer than they would when you're, in your 20s.
Are there any affirmations or just like thoughts that you fill your head with before a fight or you help, your fighters with?
Oh yeah. I mean, the fighters especially, like the biggest thing is building them up, building their confidence up during that fight camp, that 6 to 8 weeks. That's what we want to do. We know the skill set is there. If the skill set wasn't there, then I wouldn't be putting you in that camp. I wouldn't be putting you in the cage. I already know that's there. It's going to get better in the 6 to 8 weeks because you're going to be training every day. But building that confidence is what my biggest goal is in that 6 to 8 weeks, and making sure that when they wake up on fight day, that they know they can win because their coach told them they can win because their teammates told them they can win. Everybody believes in them, so they need to be able to believe in themselves. So that's our biggest thing.
Yeah. Are there any specific mantras or things that you say? Can you give me an example of maybe how you coach someone through that?
I don't know if I can't swear, right? There's a lot of
There's a lot of swearing involved. Okay.
Get her. Get her.
Get her.
We always have a strategy. There's always what are you going to do when that bell goes off? And we'll talk about that 3 or 4 weeks leading up. And then that last fight, what are you doing? That bell goes off. What are you doing? Doing it right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So we'll always have that. As soon as that bell goes off, they know they've played that in their head for the last month. I'm going to teep her in the, I'm going to teep her in the sternum. I'm going to punch her in the nose. I'm going to hook her in the head. And they know that's going to happen because their coach told them over and over again, that's what they're going to do. So that's the kind of thing. And then it's always just you can do this. If you couldn't do this, you wouldn't be here. You're the 1% that's doing this. Look at you. You're literally putting yourself in a cage in front of hundreds, thousands of people. Nobody else is doing this. You're doing it. Mm-hmm. Who cares if you win or lose? You're winning because you're doing it.
Yeah. Regardless, whether you win or lose, you are awesome.
Right. It's who gets to say that they got to do this? Not many people. So
yeah. So I'm sure it's kind of leaning more on not really, of course you want the outcome to be in your favor, but really leaning on the experience of it all.
100%.
And just the coolness of it all.
Everybody wants to win, right? Nobody wants to lose, but you're going in there, one person's going to win, one person's going to lose. But those are the only, usually it's just 2 to 4 women on a fight card. Any woman that can show up to do that, they're winning. They're winning.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Sarah, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm so
thank you.
So impressed by what you've built and so grateful for what you've built for women here in Central New York.
Thank you. I'm grateful for you giving me this opportunity. This is awesome.
Absolutely. I saw you and I was like, I have to talk to this girl on my podcast. This is so cool. Where can people find you? How can people support you? How can they get in touch with you, Sarah?
Yep. SGP Fight Club, everything. So our website, sgpfightclub.com. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can, usually within an hour or two. Instagram, SGP Fight Club. I got to be honest, I'm not on Facebook a ton, but I do answer messages. There's just not a lot of content posted there. So SGP Fight Club, everywhere.
All right, y'all. Well, we'll be sure to include those links in the show notes so people can go and find you really easily. And if you have been thinking about giving martial arts a try, go and see my girl, Sarah. Yes. She'll take care of you.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cultivate CNY. If you enjoyed this conversation, I'd love it if you left us a quick review and made sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And if something in today's discussion resonated with you, please share it. Whether it's on social media or directly with a friend, you never know how hearing this conversation might be exactly what someone needs right now. And I love to hear your feedback. I love to hear your thoughts. So please be sure to tag us on social media if you do share there. This podcast is produced by Diam Media Group, a video production company based in Syracuse, New York. If you'd like to work with Diam Media for your next big campaign or maybe a podcast you'd like to get off the ground, head to diammedia.com to learn more. Until next time, I'm Alex Canavan, and I'll see you next Monday.